Okay, welcome to this course in captioning in YouTube. Let's have a quick look at what we're going to learn. First of all, we're going to do some definitions. There can be a little bit of confusion about what captioning actually is, so we'll make sure we know that before we go on. Then my top 10 tips for captioning. And really, if you stick to these and did no more than these 10, you do a very good job in captioning. So we'll have a look at those. And then I'll just give you an idea of what we're going to do and how we're going to prep for it. And then we'll actually do a session where we do a bit of captioning in YouTube using their new interface, which isn't too bad. And then I'll just give you a few links for a bit of further reading, basically. Okay, so captions or subtitles. What's the difference and what are we going to be doing? Well, subtitles assume the viewer can't understand the language, or it's very unclear or noisy. So you might see that on, say, an SBS, World Movies, movie in Spanish, and you'll see subtitles. So they just translate the dialogue, nothing else. Okay, so think SBS for subtitles. We're not doing subtitles, we're doing captions. Yeah. We're going to, yes, we're going to do the dialogue as well, but we're also going to describe the whole audio environment. Okay, and historically this is for the deaf and hearing impaired, etc. And there's an example of what you might see in a caption that you wouldn't see in a subtitle. So you see the square brackets and the word jackhammer. So that would be the sound of a jackhammer. Okay, there's all different types of captioning, so I'll tell you which ones we're going to be doing. Live captioning, you'll be familiar with this probably in Adobe Connect when a stenographer sometimes sits on the other end and types what's being said live in real time. And also teletext on TV is a bit like that too. We're not doing that. We're doing closed captioning, CC. And you might see the CC button in YouTube, and that's what it means, closed captioning. And that means that the viewer can turn the captioning on or off. And there's also open captioning, where they're always on. And that's a little bit like SBS, but not quite. But you can't turn them off. So out of that whole page, we're just doing the yellow stuff, which is captions, also known as closed captioning. So we're going to describe the whole audio environment, including dialogue and sounds that are important. And we're going to do them as closed captions that you can turn on and off. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the SRT file. And it isn't talked about enough. This is actually all the work you're going to do in captioning. All those, the many minutes that you spend captioning are captured in a little file called an SRT file. It's called a subrip format file. But the SRT file is a little auto-generated text file that actually contains the captions and all their timings in this format that you can take to other programs. So if you want to import your captions into some other program that uses captions, you can use an SRT file. And it's really, really handy to have, and it's really your intellectual property. You've got the video, but you've also got this SRT file, which is all that time that you spent. And if you don't generate an SRT file from YouTube, which you can, you'll have kind of not done the last bit of intellectual property, and that is exporting that SRT file to your hard disk or somewhere else and keeping it with the video. And you certainly don't imagine one day if YouTube decides not to allow you to save SRT files to your hard disk, you'll have been caught short. So I'm just saying do it now, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so and here's an SRT file. It shows you the first caption and its in and out point and the actual caption text. And then the second caption, its in and out point and the caption text. Okay, so my top 10 tips. If you follow these tips, it won't make them exactly ADA compliant, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act compliant, but gee, it'll go a long way. And there are a lot worse captions out there than I'm going to show you. And basically, this is what I do, and I think it's pretty much ADA compliant. Okay, first one. Don't make your captions any more than 1 to 3 lines of text, okay? And preferably at the bottom of the screen. But if there's some other text down there that you need to look at, you can move the captions momentarily to the top of the screen. I found that 2 lines of text is probably the nicest. 3 starts to really bunch up and make a lot of take up a lot of real estate on the screen. 2, a shaded background, e.g. a light grey box with maybe white text on it. If you have a grey bar across the whole of the bottom of the screen, and sometimes you don't have captions on, and that grey bar is still there, it's just a little bit annoying. It takes up a lot of real estate, and it degrades the experience of watching the video. So ideal would be to have grey boxes as long as each line of text and no longer. 3, use a good sans serif font like Helvetica Medium. Okay. Don't use serif fonts like Times New Roman. They're harder to read. Okay. And harder to read means harder to understand. Uppercase and lowercases, of course, good. This is a rough guesstimate. No more than about 32 characters per line, but don't agonize over that, okay? If it reads well, it reads well. Try it yourself. Try and keep up with it. 5, time your caption to start at the beginning of a spoken word, okay? And when I say the beginning, I don't mean just before. Don't preempt, don't be ahead of the audience. So literally when they start saying the syllable of that word, it doesn't matter if it comes in just a smidge after they say the word, either on the word or just after the word. So bring it in about there and keep it in until the phrase that you've got on the screen is finished. And if you have time, keep it on just a little bit longer so that people can get through those words. And break your captions into phrases. Commas are usually good points to do a new set of captions. Where people take breaths, that's probably another good place to stop your captions and put a new caption on a different screen. So commas are often the one that I use. Okay, number 6, words should be verbatim. Okay, don't try and correct someone's language. Don't, if someone's using a lot of slang, follow that slang. Okay, because that's who they are. So don't try and gentrify slang. It respects the person reading it too. And if there's a lot of ers and rs, yeah, put them in. I mean, you don't have to put them in every time if it's becoming annoying to write it all the time. But definitely you want to celebrate that. Use italics or punctuation when a word is heavily emphasized in speech. I told you. Okay. Notice I haven't got quotes. Don't use quotes. Number 8. Add important audio descriptions inside square brackets, such as music, laughter, children mumbling in background. And you can put that straight after the bit of dialogue. For instance, you've been a wonderful audience, square brackets, clapping. Okay, so you're describing the audio environment. So that's how they differ from subtitles. Okay. And there can be long gaps sometimes, in some videos when no one's speaking, but people are laughing or clapping or mumbling or just, background chatter. And it's nice to let the person that's reading the captions know that something's going on in audio. When one person is talking off screen, or when more than one speaker is visibly speaking on screen, it can be hard to know who's talking if you're just reading the captions. So make it obvious. Little hyphens are good to denote different people. So if that the man and Jenny example here, just look at the left-hand part of the screen for this. That's 2 examples. So the man and Jenny one, little hyphens denote that it's different people. So that's good. And the man says, "You in the garage?" And then Jenny says, "Yup." Now only put man and Jenny if you don't know the man's name and you do know Jenny's name. Don't, in other words, don't put anything that the audience doesn't know. Okay? So if we don't know the man's name yet, don't put his name. The other example to the right of the screen, is just two people talking on screen, and you can see their lips moving, so you know who's talking to who. So I don't have to put man or Jenny there. And maybe one person says hello, and the other one says you're late. Okay, and there's how two lines, by the way, works quite well with subtitles. You know, sort of answer, question and answer stuff. But the hyphen is the indicator that there is more than one person talking on the screen or off screen. Lastly, make sure your captions are readable when the video is very small. Now in YouTube, that's okay, it's taken care of. In other programs, you might have to make sure, but in good programs, they will always do that for you. But just make sure, squash the video down to a little, YouTubey size, and go away from full screen, make it, a quarter the size of your screen, and see if you can still read the captions. And that's my top 10 tips. So that should be enough for anyone to do really good captioning. Okay, so just quickly, so prep for YouTube. What do I need before I start? Well, you need a video. You need as high quality video as you can create or find, okay? Often an MPEG. And I'm going to assume that it's been uploaded to your YouTube account or channel. This is not a tutorial on how to use YouTube, to upload videos and how to create channels and how to create accounts. I'm going to assume that you know that. So if you don't know that at this stage, I would suggest that you maybe use someone's account or channel, or learn how to create your own one and upload a video to YouTube. To many of the teachers watching this, you'll obviously already have your own account or channel. So you've uploaded a very high quality video, and keep that video, by the way, on your hard disk as well, because that's a good resource to keep. What if YouTube fails one day or something like that? So just keep the resource really nice and handy. Another thing that you might have, but you don't need, is a transcript of the video. You might have actually written a transcript anyway, so that you could then say it in the video. That's always handy to have. But remember, don't use it verbatim, because maybe the people talking in the video have changed it slightly. So don't just, whack slabs of text in when you're captioning and just assume that they're saying the same things. Always listen, and you might have to change. But sometimes it's easier to just cut and paste stuff from a transcript into the captioning process in YouTube. And if you have a transcript, that's great. If you don't, we don't need it. We're not going to use a transcript for this demonstration because I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. Okay, so that's the two things that you're going to need, or possibly need. And what are we going to deliver? We're going to deliver a caption vid in YouTube. So it'll be in YouTube with captions, and you'll be able to turn them on and off. And I really want you to get into the habit of creating and exporting from YouTube to your own hard drive an SRT file. And I suggest that you keep the video and the SRT file together as the master file, on your hard drive. And then you'll have also the captioned video on YouTube. Okay, and here's just a little diagram for those of you who like diagrams. So what we're going to do is we're going to input the video into YouTube, which, well, we've already done that. I'm going to assume you've already done that and you know how to do that. And then we might use a transcript. And then we'll go into YouTube, we'll log into the channel, and through that process of captioning, we'll create the captioned vid, and we'll export an SRT file to your hard drive to keep later. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do some captioning. Okay, I'm in the Disability Support Unit's YouTube channel, and I got there by logging in, of course, and then clicking on my channel. And there we are. Okay, so you can get to captioning a couple of ways. Probably the easiest way is to do it through the top line video manager. So we'll click on that. And then choose a video to caption. Notice that a lot of them have CC next to them already. A lot of our videos, most of them in fact, have closed captions on them already. There's one down here that I'll choose of our four-legged friend. And let's edit that. And there are no captions on this yet. So across the top you can see subtitles and closed captions, so we'll click on that. Okay, and you might see this here already, the word English or English United Kingdom perhaps. I'm just going to be really ruthless with that and say just delete it and start from scratch, okay? And to do that, you just click on the word English if it's there. If it's not there, by the way, everything is good. You won't have to do this. But you just click on the word English and then you go to Actions and delete subtitles, just in case it's trying to do something clever. Right, that's a nice clean slate. Now some of you might have logged in and seen a clean slate already, so that's great. So we're all up to speed now. So let's add subtitles and we'll get English and then we'll select the method. There's a few options here. Uploading a file, uploading a text transcript or timed subtitles file. That was that SRT file I was telling you about. We don't have one yet, so we can't upload one. Very cool if we had one though. The second one, transcribe and set timings. And that's where you could say cut and paste your whole transcript if you have one straight into YouTube and then muck around with the timings. And that could save you some time, but we're not going to do that one either. We're going to do the most sort of intensive one because you'll learn the most from this one. And then you can use the other ones if you want. This one, create new subtitles or closed captions, and I'll just show you the little help on that. Creates subtitles and closed captions by typing them in as you watch the video. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So click on that one. And here we have the video. And we also have in IE 10 and above, Internet Explorer 10 and above, we have this nice new WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, editor, okay, which shows you the talking or the background noise. And we'll also show you captions in a minute too, and it makes it quite elegant to caption. And in fact, is the reason I'm doing this course, because finally Internet Explorer has a reasonably elegant caption editor now. And that's IE 10 and above. Okay, Safari and Chrome and Firefox, all the current versions are all good as well. IE 9 does not have this capability. Okay, so we're ready to go basically. So what we can do is we can just listen and look and listen for the first bit of dialogue. Beauty of it. Beauty of it. Beauty of it. Okay. So we'll type that in. Let's type it in up here. And we don't know who it is. He's off screen. It's a man. I happen to know there are two men in this video, so I'm going to put man 1. Beauty of it. And it's sort of an exclamation point. So I think we'll do that. It gives a bit more richness. And we'll add it. And we'll see that down here, the caption actually exists now down here. And it's very nice. We can actually move it around. And we can make it longer or shorter, and we can do it to both ends. So I like this now. What it means is you don't have to guess how many seconds it is where it starts and how many seconds it is where it finishes. And that can be very time consuming and very laborious and very annoying. And then we can actually just move the audio by clicking on the audio there and moving it back before the caption and just checking again. And we'll hit play over here. Beauty of it. So it starts way back here, so let's just move it way back here and see what happens. And we're looking for the very first occurrence of that caption to be right on when he says it, not before and not too far after. Beauty of it. That's pretty good. Let's move it a smidge to the right. Okay, so that's great. And we'll just leave it on long enough for the average person to be able to read it. So here we go. Beauty of it. And do you notice there's the sound of the catapult or the ball shooter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend it a little bit. So this is what I love about this interface. I'm going to extend it a little bit, and at the end, because it comes right after the words, I'm going to put in square brackets. Whoops. Catapult noise. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and listen to it again. Just move this back like that and have a quick listen.
Beauty of it.
And that'll probably be long enough, I think, something like that. I just made it just a little bit longer. Now, I'm agonizing over this first one. It's actually quite fast when you get used to it.
Beauty of it.
Great, and now we'll just play until we hear the next. Now, look, there's another interesting indicative sound. I mean, it really is the whole point of this video, the fact that there's a catapult. So I think we should actually put in a little square bracket around here with the saying catapult noise. So let's add a new caption, and we'll put it with this little plus here. And there it is. And I'll just put catapult noise, whoops, noise, and I'll place it somewhere, probably around about here somewhere. Let's have a quick look. Not bad. You can actually see where it's the big bit of audio here is where the caption starts probably. So I'll just move back like that. And it didn't last that long, so I'll just make it a bit shorter. It's not much to read, and we shouldn't make it sound like it's going forever. That's good. And I'll just put in one more line of text, and we'll call that a lesson almost.
This time not so frustrating.
This time not so frustrating. And you notice I'm not agonizing about where it starts yet? That's the nice thing about this WYSIWYG editor down here. So I'm going to put another caption in by hitting that little plus, and I'm going to put man2. We still don't know this person's name, so there's no point. This time not so frustrating. This time, comma, maybe, not so frustrating. And I'll get the space in correctly. And then I'll find out where to put it. It's just easier, I think. So I pause it as soon as I hear this, and then I can move this to where it is. Somewhere around there, I think. Let's just check that. Move, drag that across, and
This time not so.
a little bit late. I'm just doing it by eye.
This time not so.
Or just, guessing almost.
This time not so frustrating. It'll be down that way.
It'll be down that way. In this, where are we? We've only got one line on the screen, so we literally could extend that. And I should have probably listened to the whole sentence. I mean, that makes sense. I will extend it. I'll make it a bit longer. Now let's listen to the whole sentence, because we can do it over 2 lines.
This time not so frustrating. It'll be down that way.
It'll be down that way. Yeah, all right. It'll be down that way. I think that's worth putting in. It'll be down that way. And it's as if he left it hanging, so I'm going to do that. Just gives a little bit more information to the person reading the captions. And then we'll find where it goes.
This time
Not bad, actually. I'll just check that. Yep.
This time not so frustrating. It'll be down that way.
I just noticed a spelling error. That's also part of the whole process, by the way. I type things in fast, work fast, and then I just fix it up in one pass at the end. I don't get too worried about small errors. It's better just to get it down.
This time not so frustrating. It'll be down that way.
That's probably long enough to be on the screen. And you see I can just go from left to right now and do that. And then at that point, if you notice down here, everything that you do after a few seconds gets saved. So that's nice. You don't have to worry about saving all your stuff. But when you're really happy with it, and so what I would do now is I would go back to the beginning of this whole video and I would check the timing and all of the syntax, etc. Make sure everything is perfect before you publish. And when you're happy, you hit publish. And there it is. It says subtitles published. Okay. And if we were to go out of YouTube and search for this video, you would see that there were subtitles on it. We might see that at the end. The last thing I'm going to do is click on the subtitles again. And in actions, I'm going to say, create SRT file. Because, we might have been at this video for an hour. So let's save all that good work for later. So I'm going to hit SRT, and then frankly, do you want to open or save captions? Let's just save them. Save as, and just find somewhere to put them. I'll just put their caption. I'll just call it captions.srt. Make sure it's a .srt. That's one of the most universal formats there is. And I'll just save it to my desktop now. And it's done, and you'll see it. I'll just quickly, there it is on my desktop right there. And it's a Word document, by the way, which you can open. Let's have a quick look at that, actually. You'll have to say OK to a couple of things to make it work. There we go, just say OK to that. And there you can see a perfectly good SRT file that you could import into any other captioning tool. And that, along with the original video that you uploaded, should be kept somewhere safely together on your hard drive. Okay, there ends the YouTube demo. Lastly, I just want to show you a couple of links and some more material for reading, just in case you'd like to see any more about this. The first one is the YouTube caption how-to guide, and there's the link to it. If you copy that, you should be able to get to it. You can just Google it too. Just put how-to guide YouTube into Google. The second link is if you're an overachiever and you've got a little bit of money and you'd like an even nicer experience when it comes to captioning, and this is the tool that I use. I am in no way affiliated with the company. It's about 200 US, and you can buy it online. And it's called Camtasia. And it's just a very elegant captioning tool, and it does a little bit more than just captioning. It allows you to edit your videos as well, and it's just a very nice resource, I think, for teachers. It's my favorite resource for captioning. It does a really good job, and it's very elegant. And it also is ADA compliant. Lastly, and for fun really, please, automatic captions in YouTube, especially for Aussie accents, especially with noisy atmospheres, are just terrible. Don't rely on automatic captions, okay? Check the spelling and check the words. And I just thought I'd, just for fun, give you a link to a very funny YouTube clip where they put a little acting scene through the automatic captioning device twice in YouTube and then acted out what the actual captions came back as again. And it's funny, but I tell you what, the joke's on you when you use automatic captions. By all means, try to start automatic with automatic. It might work to a certain extent, but then be very, very careful in going through with a fine-tooth comb and manually editing your captions. Okay, I hope you've had fun, and good luck with your captioning.